In Family Guy, death's just another punchline. Characters get blown up, crushed, or erased like they never mattered. Some return, others stay gone. Today, we're breaking down every official Family Guy death, from tragic to downright ridiculous. Let's kick things off with Mr. Weed. And no, not the fun kind. Jonathan Weed was Peter's boss at the Happy-Go-Lucky Toy Factory and made his debut in the pilot episode Death Has a Shadow. He was strict, professional, and perpetually unimpressed by Peter, who was usually hammered at work. Weed's shtick was twofold: firing Peter for being incompetent, then somehow rehiring him again. He also had this flamboyant flair the show never outright confirmed, but leaned into for laughs. Basically, he was the only thing standing between Peter Griffin and total unemployment. And then came Mr. Saturday Night. Peter invited him over for dinner, hoping to impress him. Shockingly, it worked. We'd liked the house, the family, even Brian the dog. He was so impressed that he offered Peter a promotion ahead of toy development. For once, Peter was actually winning. But this is Family Guy, so of course disaster struck. Brian, shocked by the news, choked on a dinner roll. Lois and Peter performed the Heimlich, and the roll shot out like a cannon, directly into Mr. Weed's throat. Instant death. Just like that, Peter killed the one guy who kept giving him chances. At his funeral, Weed's videotape will reveal the toy factory would be demolished to make way for the homoerotic toy factory.
Happy-Go-Lucky Toy Factory shall be torn down to make way for the Happy-Go-Lucky Terminal Disease Institute.
What?
The show moved on almost instantly. Weed's death was one of the first examples of Family Guy showing us just how cruel, random, and funny its character exits could be. Next up is Loretta Brown, Cleveland's wife and everything he wasn't. Loud, sassy, and always ready to pick a fight, Loretta was introduced in Mind Over Murder, where she complained about Lois stealing her husband's attention. Her marriage with Cleveland went downhill fast when Quagmire got involved. During a fishing trip, a fish literally landed in Loretta's cleavage, and she took it as a sign from the universe. Quagmire, being Quagmire, didn't resist. Before long, Loretta was cheating with him. Peter eventually delivered the bad news to Cleveland in the least sensitive way possible, by acting it out with sound effects.
I've been wanting to talk to you about something. In Superman 2, what is the story with that cellophane S that Superman rips off his chest and throws at the bad guy?
Cleveland confronted Loretta, but instead of an emotional blow-up, he stayed calm. Too calm. Loretta snapped that she needed a real man and kicked him out. Divorce followed, and Loretta moved on with her life. She resurfaced occasionally, even making a desperate bid to reunite with Cleveland only for him to reject her. Her actual death didn't come until The Cleveland Show. In Gone with the Wind, she was crushed during one of Peter's ridiculous stunts that destroyed Cleveland's house. And unlike Cleveland, who always walked away unharmed, Loretta didn't.
No! No! No!
The real reason? Voice actress Alex Borstein, who already voiced Lois and more, admitted Loretta's gravelly voice was too hard on her throat. Killing her off was easier than keeping her around. Loretta's death wasn't grand or heroic. It was just another gag casualty. But it left a mark, showing that even Cleveland's family wasn't safe. Horace was the lovable bartender at the Drunken Clam, the guy's unofficial second home. He didn't get much character development, but his constant presence behind the bar made him part of the family. Horace actually cheated death a few times. He got shot in the bar and survived. He fell off a ladder fixing a TV and lived. Even when God accidentally set fire to the clam, Peter ran in and saved him. The man was indestructible until he wasn't. In Save the Clam, Horace's luck ran out. The Drunken Clam took on Goldman's pharmacy in a softball game. Jerome, playing for the pharmacy, came up to bat against Horace. One bad pitch later, Jerome hit the ball straight into Horace's head, killing him instantly. The funeral was short and bittersweet.
Oh my God, he's really hurt bad. You're out of the baseline, by the way. You're out. Game's over. But oh my God, Horace is really hurt.
He's dead.
The clam was supposed to close, but ironically, Jerome, the guy who killed him, bought the bar with his sports earnings and kept it open. Family Guy logic at its finest. Horace's death showed the show wasn't afraid to replace a background character if it meant setting up a gag or a new dynamic. And let's be real, Jerome brought more personality than Horace ever did. Still, Horace deserves a toast. He lived and died by the clam. Peter's dad, Francis Griffin, was a strict Irish Catholic who managed to be both hilarious and insufferable. He hated Lois because she was Protestant. He constantly belittled Peter, and he basically made life miserable for everyone around him. Francis lived by his religion to an absurd degree. He moved in with Peter after retiring and even redecorated the Griffin house with crosses everywhere. He clashed with everyone, even the Pope, and still acted like he was always right. In Peter's Two Dads, Francis finally met his end. At Meg's birthday party, Peter tried to perform one of his usual stupid stunts and accidentally injured his dad. Francis ended up in the hospital, where he delivered his final words to Peter. "You're a fat, stinking drunk." Then he promptly died. Brutal honesty till the end. Peter was devastated, at least until he learned that Francis wasn't even his real dad. Thelma later admitted Peter's biological father was an Irishman named Mickey McFinnigan. Naturally, Peter only won his new dad's acceptance by defeating him in a beer-drinking contest. Of course. Francis's death was harsh but fitting. He was always miserable, so the writers gave him a miserable send-off. It also opened the door for more wacky family revelations. If Francis was harsh, Peter's mom Thelma was cold. She was a smoker, a drinker, and not exactly Mother of the Year material. She occasionally popped in to drop soul-crushing bombshells on Peter, like telling him he was actually born in Mexico, or revealing Francis wasn't his real dad. In Mom's the Word, Thelma died suddenly of a stroke. But instead of focusing on her death, the episode bizarrely shifted into a storyline where Peter gets seduced by an older woman. Yeah, it was weird. Thelma's death wasn't mourned nearly as much as Francis's. She'd always been distant and a bit cruel, so the show just kind of moved on. Even Tom Tucker, who dated her briefly, didn't seem to care much when she was gone. In the end, Thelma was never meant to be a beloved recurring character. Her death served as yet another reminder that in Family Guy, even close relatives aren't safe from being written out in the blink of an eye. Doug was Stewie's obnoxious preschool rival. He first appeared taunting Stewie on his big wheel, and their rivalry escalated from there. Doug constantly mocked him, from his toy lawnmower to his political ambitions. Things came to a head in The Candidate, where Doug ran unopposed for snack captain. Stewie jumped in to stop him, but Doug dominated the race. Even when he pooped his pants on stage, the kids thought it was relatable. Stewie lost. Then in classic Family Guy fashion, Doug's death was dropped casually in a throwaway line. He died in a commuter plane crash. No dramatic moment, no big send-off. Just Stewie casually mentioning it while wearing Doug's snack captain hat. Fans actually cheered. Doug was gone, and nobody really missed him. Bertram, Stewie's half-brother and fellow supervillain baby, was born from Peter's sperm bank mishap. From the moment they met, it was war. Their rivalry peaked in The Big Bang Theory, when Bertram used Stewie's time machine to kill Leonardo da Vinci, trying to erase Stewie from existence. For a moment it worked, but Stewie, being Stewie, hunted him down and killed him instead. Bertram was gone for good. Unlike Doug, Bertram was actually a fun rival. His death felt more like the end of an era than a joke. But hey, in Family Guy, babies killing each other with time machines is just another Tuesday. Muriel, Mort Goldman's wife, was basically a female version of him, nasal, neurotic, and awkward. She was a background character most of the time, but in And Then There Were Fewer, she became a victim. At James Wood's dinner party, Muriel was accused of having an affair with him. The guests turned on her, she ran off, and was later found stabbed to death. Unlike James Woods, who magically came back in later episodes, Muriel stayed dead. Her death was permanent, and Mort and Neil didn't seem all that devastated. She was just gone, and Family Guy barely looked back. Diane Simmons, Channel 5 co-anchor, went out in the same And Then There Were Fewer episode. She was revealed as the killer behind the dinner party murders, framing Tom Tucker after a midlife crisis meltdown. Her motive: James Woods dumped her, and Tom was planning to replace her with a younger co-anchor, so Diane snapped. She killed multiple guests, confessed to Lois, and was about to shoot her when Stewie stepped in and shot Diane first. That was the end of Diane, a long-running side character taken out in one of Family Guy's darkest episodes. Patty Tanager was the annoying, big whoop wanna fight about it guy who popped up to argue over nothing. His shtick was funny the first few times, then it just got old. In Hell Comes to Quahog, Patty picked the wrong fight. He was run over by Stewie driving a tank, and that was that. One of the most satisfying deaths in the series.
Joe, my God, what happened?
Angela, Peter's boss at the brewery, was voiced by the legendary Carrie Fisher. She was stern, professional, and not at all impressed by Peter. Over time, she even developed a bizarre crush on him. Angela's death happened off-screen after Fisher passed away in 2016. In Pawtucket Pete, Peter gave a heartfelt, if clumsy, eulogy. It was one of the rare, sincere moments in the show, honoring both Angela and Carrie Fisher. Finally, we have Mayor Adam West, the insane, corrupt, yet somehow beloved leader of Quahog. Voiced by the real Adam West, he was a fan favorite for years. When West passed away in real life, the show honored him in Adam West High. The characters mourned, and Quahog High was renamed after him. It was heartfelt, respectful, and surprisingly touching. Mayor West's death hurt because he was genuinely beloved, both in the show and in real life. Replacing him with Wild West never quite hit the same. And that's every major Family Guy death. Tragic, hilarious, or just plain weird. No one's safe in Quahog. Want more chaos? Watch our next one. Every major plot hole in Family Guy.